When I was growing up, I remember playing Ludo. And in the game Ludo, you have to move to win. You can't win unless you move. And that's true in life as well. In order for you to be successful, you have to make that first or take that first step. And one of the most instrumental people in my life who encouraged me to take that first step is my mother. And that's why the name of the album is Celia, because that's my mother's name. And I wanted to pay homage to literally the strongest woman I know.
Wow, that powerful voice with that in-depth introspective explanation of her new album, Celia, which is out tomorrow. Let me tell you something about this young lady, Citizens. And you know we like to bring you artists, internationally known artists. We've been doing this for years in different parts of Africa, from South Africa to West Africa, people in North Africa, folks from Morocco, all different parts of the continent for years since we've done this show, Heather B. We wanted to bring light to and bring exposure. And the interesting thing is these artists are bigger than the biggest artists here in the United States, but you go around the world, these artists got more marquee and then some of the artists that we have here. This particular artist appeared on the cover of Billboard magazine's 2020 issue, which is huge. She was named one of the 10 women changing the face of music globally by British Vogue. I was there for in 2018 when she was the first woman to win Best African Act for the MTV VMAs, where I believe that's where I met her backstage, and she came up to me and spoke so graciously and introduced herself. I don't know if she remembers that, but she's on the show today. Please welcome her, the one and only Tiwa Savage, ladies and gentlemen.
Tiwa!
Oh, man.
What's poppin'?
That is such an amazing, welcoming intro. Thank you so, so much for that. That's amazing. I do remember meeting you. I was really, really shy and nervous. And my manager was just like, just go and say hi. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I remember that. And I was like, yo, that was really sweet. And you never know, Tiwa. Like, for me, I was as amazed or as joyous as you were to meet you. And even the fact that you even were aware of anything I ever done, being where you're from. So I want to say thank you. Absolutely. And Celia, let's talk about this album title. My auntie,
Yes.
rest in power. The Rastafari, the person who got me into studying Rastafarian philosophy, name is Celia. And she passed on years ago. Yeah, but she's still with us in our presence, in the spirit. And I love the way you talk about the role your mother played with you growing up. What was it like for you growing up? Now, I know you lived in Brooklyn for a while, but where did you actually grow up?
Yeah. So I was born and I grew up in Nigeria. And being or telling your family that you want to go into music was like probably one of the biggest taboos you can tell them. Like they were like everyone, my aunts, like cousins, everyone, neighbors were telling my mom, is she crazy? No one's going to marry her. She goes into music. She's not going to be successful. You know, she just needs to go to university, get a day job. And my mom was just like, no, like this is what you guys did, that you killed my dream. So I'm not going to do that and kill her dream. So one thing she did say to me, though, she was just like, I'm going to support you, but I just want you to get a degree first so you have something to fall back on. So I actually studied business and accounting first. And then she was just like, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do now.
Okay. And did you grow up with a lot of siblings, or was it just you?
It was just, well, I have 3 older brothers, so I was the only girl, and I was the last one.
And you were the last one. Did they let you? I can't even imagine having 3 older brothers. You would have never had a date. You would never get a date growing up.
Yeah, still till now. Like, I have a son, a 5-year-old son, and if you ask my brothers, I'm still a virgin.
Yo, Tiwa Savage is here. Yeah, they think you still a virgin. What was your religious faith growing up in Nigeria?
Well, Nigeria is like, I would say 50-50, so half Islam, half Christianity. And I grew up, well, both. My dad was Muslim and my mom was Christian, and but I'm Christian.
Okay, and you're Christian. Okay, that's interesting right there.
Mm-hmm.
Tiwa Savage is here. Now, I just want people to kind of get a feel for who you are, but this woman is really well known and well established, HB. And it's interesting that I said she was the first woman to win Best African Act at the MTV VMAs, and even in 2018. And we've been doing the VMAs forever. And that always begs the question: what was it like coming up in the music, entertainment for you as a woman, especially on the continent of Africa? Is it kind of like here you got double standards for women? You know, people went off when Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion did WAP because of the lyrics, but you know, damn near every song we play by men has lyrics that might be considered racy or salacious, and they don't get the same kind of scrutiny. What was it like for you coming up in Africa?
It's exactly the same. And I want to say a little bit worse because just socially and culturally, a lot of Africans still believe that the woman should be in the house and she should be submissive and just all those type of values on being a woman. Like the same thing. Like it's even not as, like for me, like when I have a half sleeve tattoo. And when I got that and it was on social media out here, I was like, she's going to hell, this, that, and the other. And, you know, when I got separated from my husband, they just blamed me. They were like, oh, take her child away from her. She can't be a mother. You know, it's just unbelievable. And because I've lived in the UK and I've lived in the US, coming back to Nigeria and seeing that these things are still happening was just crazy for me. I would go to a show and they would tell me I can't perform because some of the ladies are offended by what I'm wearing. And I'm not even wearing like thongs or anything. I'm talking about, you know, like shorts, like denim shorts or something with like sneakers. And they would literally tell me that I can't get on stage and perform, or they would ban my videos on TV because they thought it was like too explicit. And like you said, those same standards were not, you know, put on the male artists. It's just it's wild to me, and that's why this album was really, really important, because I wanted to celebrate, and I want to celebrate Black women, women of color, African women, people of African descent, because I feel like while all of this stuff is going on in the world with Black Lives Matter, I also want to just celebrate women of color, because you know, I just feel like they it's just so unfair what they have to go through.
Yeah,
it's really unfair. Like you said with the Cardi B situation, it's like, when is it going to stop? When are we going to appreciate what women have to go through? And you know what? Not even just women of color, just women in general. What they have to go through, especially in this industry. You know, there's so much. When you have a child, you're forced to bounce back and have a banging body. And that pressure is not on men. It's not on men.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. HB, you went like you was just checking off the list of, you can speak that.
No, because Tiwa is absolutely right. Thank you again, Tiwa, for joining us on the show. I was going to ask, though, like, for us growing up, like for me and Sway's era, we had to listen to hip hop in our own way because it was just like breaking and starting and coming across the radio. So we would have to kind of stay up late at night and record it on cassette tapes to be able to hear it back the next day. My mother, my parents didn't really want to hear that kind of music. Sometimes we would have to sneak and listen to it. But you describing Nigeria, how did you guys have to kind of sneak to listen to music as well? Like certain artists, because you said people would get offended by so much out there. How did you like come to love hip hop or find out about different artists living in Nigeria?
So I didn't even hear it till I got to London when I was about 15, 16.
Wow.
So I got into Brandy and like Tevin Campbell and SWV when I moved to London. When I was in Nigeria, my mom just used to play like traditional Nigerian music and, you know, Fela Kuti and King Sunny Ade and Christian songs. So I wasn't really, I guess sometimes my brothers, because they lived in the UK, and they would come back home sometimes, and I would hear them playing these foreign songs, and I'll be like, who the heck is that? And then when I got to London and I was watching TV and I saw like Brandy, and I was just like, whoa, like I was obsessed. Like she's like my age and she's just cool, Aaliyah, and I just really got into like R&B and soul music at that age. But it wasn't until I was like 13, 14. So
wow, a teenager. That's crazy.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Missed out, kid. You missed out, kid.
Oh no, I caught up. Trust me, I caught up. I went back. I was like, because I went to Berklee College of Music, and there was a course there, like a hip hop course, and I was just like soaking everything in. Like I literally, when I moved to America and I lived in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, I was, you would have thought I really thought I was a hip hop head, like walking around with bandanas and stuff, and I still had like an accent, a British accent. So when I talk, they'll be like, "Where are you from?" And I'll be like, "Oh God, I'm gonna give it away."
Yeah, you was on your Lil' Kim when you was in Brooklyn, huh? You thought you was Lil' Kim?
Yeah. I thought I was bad.
Yeah, I get that. Tiwa Savage is with us right now. Just hearing your story, like you didn't arrive overnight. You know, and already we've heard about you graduating from college, you winning awards, you being in a marriage, you having a child. You know, you've done a lot to get to this point. You've done background for George Michael's. How did you hook up with George Michael's? She did background.
So when I
singing
got
for
to London, yeah. So I was like just auditioning for different things, and there was this agency I auditioned for, and they were signing backup vocalists, and so yeah, they called me and they said I got a gig to do backup for George Michael, and I was just like, oh, okay. And they're like, oh yeah, send your account, we're gonna pay you. And I was like, you're gonna pay me? Like, oh my, all right. I could get used to this. Like, yeah, sign me up. But for me, it was great to do stuff like that. Like, you know, before, like when I was starting out into music, or when I really started doing my artist thing, I was resenting the fact that it took me so long, because I saw other people that were like, had started 10 years before and they'd achieved so much. And I was just like, yo, God, why did you delay my success? And, you know, to me now, I actually really appreciate it, because honestly, like slow success builds character and fast success builds ego. And I feel like that's why I'm so grounded right now, because it didn't happen overnight. Like I literally had to work for everything, and I appreciate every moment, because working as a backup singer, I've seen artists come and go, so I know how fickle fans can be. So it's important for me to realize that there's a difference between that and my real life, and I have to keep that private.
Wow, Tiwa Savage is here. Celia is the name of the project, this beautiful album that she's put together. Most recently, we got a chance to really witness Tiwa Savage, to see you in maybe one of the most epic visual movies that I've seen in a lifetime, Black is King, with Beyonce. And I know how it works with Beyonce. Like if they ask you to be on something, it ain't Beyonce calling the phone necessarily saying, Tiwa, I want you to do this. Somebody is reaching out. They emailing you. They don't. Because the reason why I know, because I've been solicited too, Tiwa. We got that in common. Go ahead. That's a stunt right there, HB. You know, okay, you know, B's. I call her B, Tiwa. I don't know what you call her, but B's people reached out to me via email before.
Right.
But, you know, I wanted to ask you, man, did how much did you get to actually be in her presence?
So I've actually never met her, actually, still.
Okay.
I know. I mean, I've been in places, you know, because she performed at Global Citizen, I believe, last year or 2 years ago in South Africa, and I was on the bill as well. But I mean, I'm so glad you asked me about that, because I know there was talks about, you know, people felt like she was appropriating African culture and this and that and the third. And for me, I just feel like you can't steal what's yours. Like, we all people of color originally are from Africa. So how can you tell me somebody who is from Africa is stealing African culture? It doesn't make sense. I feel like we should really commend her for doing something to highlight Africa, the continent, the great talent that we have, and just appreciating the beautiful, iconic piece that she put together, instead of saying, oh no, this and that, or looking for anything negative to say, because there's already a lot of negative things about Black people, people of color in Africa. It's already out there, so we don't need to add any more to it. What we need to do is celebrate ourselves and reunite ourselves, because we've been separated so long, and we've been told this lie that we're not the same as Caribbeans, Africans are different from African Americans, and that's a lie. Like, we all are the same, and we need to realize that, especially with everything that's happening right now around Black Lives Matter. This is a time that we all need to unite with each other, like Haitians, Caribbeans, Africans, African Americans, British Africans. We all need to come together.
I like that.
Very
round
well
of applause.
said.
Yeah, very well said. And it's interesting because we had Burner Boy came to the show, I want to say about a year ago, and we had a really in-depth conversation, similarly to what you're talking about now, identity. African identity.
Yes.
Where are you from? Yes. And he asked me that. He said, "What are you?" I said, "What do you mean?" I knew it was a trick question. I knew what he was up to, Heather. I saw it coming. But he said, "What are you? Where you born?" I said, "In America, African American." He said, "I said I'm an African born in America." He said, "But why they got to say African American? You're just African. We're all just African." And he was giving me this knowledge, and it's knowledge that I'm privy to. But what I found most impressive, and it might be an educational thing, is that people from other places have more information about our history here in the United States than most of a lot of us in the Black community in the United States do.
Because they're hiding it from you. You don't realize how powerful you are. Just imagine, say, for instance, your father's a billionaire, right? And everybody else around knows that. But for some reason, you were adopted, you've gone off and lived another life, and they don't want to tell you how rich your father is, because they know that once you find out, you're going to come back and claim your inheritance. So they don't want to tell you that. And they're hiding that from you guys, how rich and how powerful and how strong you guys are. Like, we are powerful. And I feel like that truth has been hidden for so long.
It is right here. It's very findable. It's right under your noses. Oh, I love this, Tiwa. Give her another round of applause. I'm loving this conversation.
Like, you don't have to travel all the way to Africa to know your inheritance, or to know you're a king or you're a queen. Like, it would be great for you to visit the motherland, but you don't even have to wait to do that. Like, because I feel like once you know how strong and how powerful and how rich you are, you're not going to take you're not going to settle for less, because you're going to be like, oh no, this is unacceptable. This is who I am, and this is what I deserve.
So when you see the uprisings that are taking place here in the States, when you hear about Ahmaud Arbery and you hear about, George Floyd and most recently, Jacob Blake Jr., and you hear about the NBA players, these African players boycotting, what runs through your head?
First of all, I'm angry because I have a son. I have a Black son. I'm really, really, like, there's just a rage inside of me. Like, but now it's like, I feel like now we have to be smart and we have to re-educate. We're not just fighting racial injustice, we're fighting injustice, like systematic injustice. Like, people have grown up, like, thinking that people of color are literally less than them. They've literally grown up thinking that. And it's like, we have to get into their mind. We have to re-educate and re-teach these people. Like, they have to see us as human beings, because sometimes they don't. That's the honest truth, and I hope I can be really honest. It's like they see us as animals sometimes.
Commodities.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Tiwa Savage is here. She got a ton of music that's already out. Standing Ovation was one of my joints. What was the joint? $49.99. It was a video that you've done, and and you get
Yeah.
10, 50, 100, 200 million views on your videos. I think Tiwa got money, Heather. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tiwa got some money.
Minding her business, right?
She with Rock Nation,
Amen.
though.
Amen.
Yeah, you're with Rock Nation, which is I know that's incredible, being from overseas, being from Nigeria, to be signed to Rock Nation. But I'm curious to how do you balance?
I'm actually with Motown. I was with Rock Nation, but I'm with Motown. But they're still family still.
They're still family. So what made you decide to adjust that umbrella? What made you go? Mark Byers over at Motown.
Yes, he is.
Yes,
so
Mark.
Rock Nation was like a manager. It was a management contract. So now I'm actually signed as an artist to Motown under Ethiopia and Mark.
Okay, Ethiopia and Mark, two of which people to the folks. These are two iconic people in the music business. I've known them from when they first broke into the business. Mark Byers is one of the most brilliant people you're going to meet. So congratulations with that. How do you balance all of this in being a mom at the same time? Like, how have you worked out your schedule?
That's the power of being a woman. Like, I can be, I shouldn't be driving and putting my lip liner on. That's wrong. But maybe another example. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is I can multitask. And for me, I don't even think about it. I feel like once I had my son, a switch came on, like that motherly instinct. So I can be on the phone right now, and he could be in the room, and I could be using my hand to do something else, maybe feed him or whatever. And it's just, just that vision is just powerful. So I don't see it as juggling. It's just like part of my life. I don't even know how I do it. I just feel like God has just equipped me as a woman and every other woman out there just to be able to balance being a full-time career woman and being a mother. And that's why also I get angry when people feel like once you've had a child, you can't, your career either has to slow down or you just have to stop everything and just look after your child. Like, no, don't limit women. We can do both. We literally can do both. And I'm a living testament of that. Like, you can do both.
Tiwa Savage. You like this, HB?
I love it. I want to ask Tiwa before we let you go, like, so we have obviously so many of our citizens and our guests come through from, overseas and from different places. And I'm always fascinated. Is there something about the States or maybe our accent or a word that you just was fascinated with once you got here and started living here and hanging out? What's like your favorite word that people say here that you never heard anyplace else?
No, because your audience are gonna kill me if I say it. Oh my god, yeah, I'm so fascinated by and I don't know because I watch a lot of black movies. That's my thing. Love Jones is my favorite movie of all time. But
nice.
Best Man and all that. But I love the energy and the vibe. Like they're like, girl, you ain't I know my accent is terrible, but like that. When your head is swirling and their hair is bouncing left and right and they're talking to their man and they're like, oh, you ain't gonna try that with me, you that's how and I was just looking at them and I was just be like, yeah, tell him, yeah, throw him out.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Okay, she like that hood girl. I like that.
Yeah.
She like that hood. He like that hood magic. The hood magic don't get a
hood curse out.
They're passionate. They're so I love their energy. Like if they're down for you, if they're dating a guy, there's nothing you could tell them about that man. Like they love him to his dirty drawers, to everything. Like they're down. They're like that ride or die. Just there for you type.
You like that, Tiwa?
I love that.
Are you like that? You ride or die? You down? You're loyal?
Yeah, I love it when you're with your partner and you're just not when he's a douchebag or whatever. Then you're an idiot for being with someone like that. But I mean, if he's treating you right and he's treating your kids right, then of course you've got to be his peace. You got to be that person that when he wants to come home or when he does come home, there's peace in the house. And when he knows that he's going out for war, he's got his woman by his side, to fight for him.
That's dope.
Shit, that was dope. Man, that need to be a song. We got Victoria on the line from Rhode Island. Make that a song, Tiwa. Victoria, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I just want to say hello to everybody. Heather B, I remember you since Real World, and and obviously Sway is Sway. I just wanted to thank you guys for having me on because Rhode Island is a very small state. But I'm Nigerian, and I just love you, Tiwa Savage. I love you for everything that you've been doing, redefining what it means to be, resilient in that industry. And with Bang KW and Burna Boy, everybody that's been coming through the ranks and continuing to display music, I'm just really excited for the future of all your projects. Please don't, stop diversifying yourself and, putting Nigeria on the map. I think it's so important. And with Breonna Taylor, as well as all of the other people that have fallen, I just really pray for us right now with everything that's going on in this country. I think Mike Muse and this voting quadrant is so important. And I'm just getting emotional because, it's just so important for all of us to value life. I don't know what's happening, with the Breonna Taylor thing, but I think it was huge that, for every year of her life, there's a billboard. And I refuse as a woman. I don't have any children, but even if I had a son or a daughter, I would not want them to meet their demise like that. So I just want to thank you. I know it's a very dimensional comment that I'm putting out there with all 5 different topics, but it's because I've been listening ardently since earlier this morning.
Oh, wow.
And everything that you guys do just means so much. Thank you for keeping the conversations going.
Thank you. And then make sure you get Tiwa's album. The project is called
Absolutely, Celia.
Yep.
Celia. I cannot sleep on that.
And you're a citizen. There's a song on the album, Tiwa, called, I know I'm going to not say it right, but I want to ask you the definition of Koroba. Is it Koroba? Is that how you say it?
Koroba. Yes.
Koroba.
Okay. So,
what does that mean?
That's a song out here. Like, there's these girls that they go after, like, politicians and rich men just for the money. Like, so you see, like, a 22-year-old girl dating a 60-year-old man. And so they call them runs girls, and they call them all sorts of names. And so for me, I'm not supporting these girls and saying that that's what they should do. But in this song, I'm saying if you are going to say this about the girls, you need to hold the men accountable too. So it has to be both of them, because a lot of the times these men are married or they're in politics and they are embellishing money that should be going to the country, and they're living like rock stars. So why are these men not accountable for their actions? So while we are pointing fingers at these young girls, we need to make sure these men are accountable too. So that's the meaning of Koroba in a nutshell.
You make Heather. She makes this music that is so substantive and has all these powerful themes and messages in it. But when you listen to Koroba, it feels like a love song almost. Like it draws you in.
I know.
Is that your tactic? Is that part of your tactic to make sure?
Definitely. So just naturally, I have a soft-spoken voice anyway, and it comes across when I'm singing. But I feel like as musicians, we should be clever. If we're trying to pass on a message and then the beat is very, I don't know how to describe it, it just seems like a very conscious beat, it's going to go over people's heads. People just want to go in the club and party. But so if I put strong messages in club records, in club beats, or sweet R&B melodies, by the time you learn the lyrics and realize what I'm saying, you're in love with the beat, and I feel like I can deliver my message. My message is delivered way better because you're listening to it and you're enjoying it already, as opposed to I'm just like shoving information down your throat. So.
Well, I'm going to play this song, and I'm glad we got a chance to really have this conversation after meeting you in London. I'm very proud of you. All the work you've done and what you continue to do, and I'm proud of the continent of Africa, not only just Nigeria, but all the different countries that I've been to in Africa. And the movement is so huge and it's so powerful, and you learn something new every day. And I know Afrobeats is now internationally known, and it's in all of our DNA. Is there another sound that's on the rise that folks don't know about yet, coming out of Nigeria? Another rhythm or?
Oh, so everything is kind of like under the Afrobeat umbrella, but you have different subgenres. So you have Afro swing that is kind of popular, I think, in the UK. You have Amapiano, which is coming out of South Africa. So yeah, there's just different sounds from each region because it's a huge continent. So it's just different African sounds from different parts. But my favorite right now is Amapiano from South Africa.
Yeah, and I hosted something down there with who was Stogie T and the rapper Rouge and a lot of South African artists. We did something with Castlelight and they did an Amapiano performance. Yeah, so I'm up on it, Tiwa. Don't try to play me out.
You're familiar with it then. Oh my goodness, me thinking I'm giving him something new, exclusive, and you're looking at me like I have the catalog.
I got it right here. But you know what? I love the conversation. Can't wait to see you in person and we could talk again.
Yeah,
Congratulations
definitely.
on the project. Tell Ethiopia and Mark I love them and salute you. You with some really solid people. Those people have been doing this. From, I'm putting a stamp on that in case you ever wondered, but I'm sure you figured it out on your own. Tiwa Savage, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Yes, thanks
All right.
for having me, guys.